You know, I didn't expect him to speak first. I was still sitting on the sand when he looked over and just said, "Hello." Simple, calm, like we'd met before. I answered, "Of course I did." I don't even remember what my first words were. I just remember his voice. It was soft, deep, peaceful, like the ocean when it's not trying to impress anyone. I stayed on the shore. He stayed in the water, close enough to talk, but not close enough to touch. We spoke about everything and nothing. The weather, the island, how quiet that beach was. He asked if I came there often. I told him it was my favorite place in the world. He smiled at that, like it meant something more to him than it should. At some point I laughed and asked why he wouldn't just come out of the water. He paused, then said he liked the water, that the heat on land was too much for him. It sounded like an excuse, a thin one, but I didn't push. Before I knew it, evening started to fall. The sky turned that soft orange color that makes everything feel like a memory. I told him I had to go. He nodded, like he already knew I would. Pedro and I walked home slowly. I couldn't stop thinking about him. At dinner, I caught myself smiling for no reason. It's strange how someone you just met can sit so comfortably in your mind. The next day, I went back to the beach. He wasn't there. I went again the day after, and the day after that. 4 days? Nothing. By the 5th day, I almost told myself I imagined him. But when I got there, he was already there, in the water, like he'd been waiting. We talked again. Longer this time. Easier. I don't know what came over me, but I stood up and started walking toward the water. I wanted to get closer. The moment I did, he looked at me strangely, almost worried. Then he slipped under the water. Just like that. Gone. I waited and waited. He didn't come back up. My heart started racing. I thought maybe he hit his head or got pulled by a current. I panicked. I ran all the way back to the village and found my friends. Lani, Kaisha, Mona and Koa. They were by Koa's van like always, eating fruit and laughing like they didn't have a single problem in this world. I dragged them to the beach. When they saw where I'd been swimming all this time, their faces changed. They told me people stopped coming there years ago. Stories about mermaids, about people being lured into the ocean and never coming back. They thought the man I saw might be one of them. That's why he never stepped out of the water. I should have been scared, but I wasn't. If anything, I was more curious than ever. And I knew one thing for sure. I have to see him again. Something about him doesn't scare me. It pulls me closer. And now I need to know the truth. If you've been enjoying my story, don't forget to like, subscribe and share with someone who loves a little mystery. Sit tight for part 3. The final part. Because what I discover next will change everything.